Welcome to A Diamondz Minute, where clarity meets purpose and truth cuts through the noise. This is your moment to reset, refocus, and be reminded of who you are and what you carry. I am so glad you are here. Now let's get into it. Today I'm going to talk about when it's over, it's over. I know you might be expecting to hear the usual advice, just move on, let it go, all the familiar lines. And yes, we'll get there. But I want to approach this differently. I want to challenge your perspective, not just your behavior. And let me be clear, this is not a message aimed at women or men specifically. This is universal because this issue shows up in every area of life, not just relationships. Now, we were taught early on that a square peg doesn't fit into a round hole, right? That lesson was meant to teach problem solving, but somehow we ignore it in real life. Every day, people try to force things that clearly don't fit. For instance, people who don't like being around others pursue customer service roles. People who know they struggle academically take on massive student debt with no real plan. People entering relationships hoping to change someone who has already shown clearly that they are not committed. And sometimes it's not even what's said, it's what's shown. Patterns, behaviors, evidence. If someone consistently demonstrates irresponsibility, inconsistency, or lack of commitment, that is the answer, not a challenge to overcome, an answer to accept. But instead, we tell ourselves, I'm different. We believe we can change what has already been revealed. Let me say this. Trying things in life is not wrong. It expands you. It builds awareness. It helps define your boundaries. But there are areas where the cost of trying too long is too high. And relationships are one of those areas. At some point, this has to shift from an emotional decision to an intellectual one. Attraction matters, but clarity matters more. Your intellect will reveal what your emotions try to ignore. Because when you step back and evaluate patterns, real patterns, you start to see truth more clearly. And irresponsibility is not just about money either. Presence matters. Consistency matters. Responsibility is holistic. And selfishness shows up when people treat serious responsibilities like relationships or even having children as optional or situational. How about the man with 10 children by 10 different women? You hear this all the time. That's irresponsible. It's impossible for that man to be what those children need them to be spread out that way. He can't be 10 places at one time. He can't be at 10 games at one time. He can't be at 10 schools talking to 10 teachers at the same time. These aren't small things. These are indicators. 10 different women, 10 different children speaks to a lack of commitment, irresponsibility. Again, presence matters, consistency matters, and those children will need that. Now, let's expand this beyond relationships. There are people who are responsible, capable, and even successful, but they've stopped growing. They've reached a plateau. There's no creativity, no stretching, no progression. They're not failing, but they're no longer evolving. And that matters. Or consider adult parenting. At what point does support become interference? If you continue to function as a safety net without allowing growth, you may actually be preventing maturity. Are you preparing them for the time when you will need them to take care of you? Are they prepared to deal with the mental, emotional, and financial challenges that go along with aging parents? There comes a point where you have to evaluate, is what I'm doing helping or enabling irresponsibility? Is the way I'm showing up for my adult children and often grandchildren still working? And if it's not, then it's over. Not because something dramatic happened, not because there was a blow up, but because the season has ended. That's the trap. We often wait for dysfunction to justify leaving. But sometimes the only reason you need is this: there is no more growth here. Life requires us to recognize seasons, to know when to enter and when to exit, to understand that timing matters. Because the truth is simple, even if it's hard to accept. When it's over, it's over. And learning to recognize that without drama, without delay, and without denial is a sign of wisdom, not failure. Thank you for spending this Diamondz Minute with me. Remember, your value is not up for negotiation, and your purpose is not optional. Walk in it, live it, and don't shrink back. And don't forget, leave a comment, share this with someone who needs it, and like the episode. I'll see you next time.